Today I want to talk to you about estimates and adjusters, and they're both very important and very timely. And I'll try to make this quick today. The first kind of adjuster that I want to mention to you is called a public adjuster. They're somebody that you hire to work for you. They take a fee, which is generally 10% of your claim. And the first thing I want to tell you about public adjusters is, frankly, you probably don't need one. Most public adjusters advocate for their involvement in every single claim, but my advice to keep things moving quickly and kind of on a collaborative basis is give your insurance company a chance to do the right thing, because most of the time they do. Certainly there are times when insurance companies misbehave and they need to be taken to the woodshed, but frankly most of the time, especially in catastrophe situations, insurance companies do what they need to do. They get out there, they give you an estimate, and they pay the claim fairly. Public adjusters will try to convince you that that's not the case. And the very important thing here is there will be a tiny minority of you that probably do need some help. You can always hire that help later. Like I said, if you will give your adjuster a chance with the insurance company to handle your claim and handle it fairly, it generally will go much, much quicker. You may be able to squeeze a little bit more money out with a public adjuster, but you're going to have to pay them a large fee. And frankly, the other problem is when a public adjuster gets involved, it drags out considerably. What I would say is if you feel the need to hire a public adjuster, first talk to your agent and discuss it with them. And second of all, if you hire one, do not hire one that has the best marketing plan. Just like unscrupulous contractors, those that have the most aggressive marketing plans, lots of stuff on the air right now. I'm sure that down there in the TV and radio markets, you're covered up with advertisements. I'm sure there are signs everywhere, things like that. But the guy that you want, if you do need to hire a public adjuster, again, which is unlikely, is the guy that doesn't have to advertise. His reputation speaks for itself, or her reputation. So please bear that in mind. I want to talk to you about two other types of adjusters that you're going to come across. The first is a field adjuster, and that's somebody that works for the insurance company or is contracted to the company, and they're going to come out and do an initial assessment of your damage. They may prepare a preliminary estimate, and we'll come back to that in just a minute. And you will deal with them maybe only once or twice, and then most of the time what happens is they turn over their report to what's known as a desk adjuster or an inside adjuster. That's somebody that's working at the insurance company at headquarters far away. The downside is they can't really appreciate the difficult circumstances that you're in. The good news is they're out of the blast zone, and they can deal with things a little bit more rationally, and they can be very helpful. You will develop a relationship with that desk adjuster over a period of time. Now, as this extends and we go into the second, third, fourth, fifth month, sometimes that desk adjuster changes. I don't want you to get too worried about it, but what I do want you to do is get a notebook and keep really good notes about what is said to you, about who you spoke to, write down their phone number, write down what they said, and you don't have to keep it super neat. Just keep everything in one place. I prefer a spiral notebook because you can't take things out like you can in a 3-ring binder. And what you'll find is you'll get in a conversation with somebody and you'll think, oh, I just had a conversation about that and I don't remember what I said or who I talked to. But if you've written it down, then you know who you talked to, you have their phone number, you can get back to them if you need to. So your desk adjuster is going to give you an initial estimate, a copy of an initial estimate, and it's going to be done probably using a piece of software called Xactimate. Xactimate is a term that you will hear probably several times over this. And Xactimate is a very blunt tool that you use to come up with an initial estimate. You will probably get this in the mail, or you may get it emailed to you. It will absolutely, unquestionably be much, much lower than your ultimate settlement and what you probably need. That Xactimate estimate is just a very rough initial sketch, and it's kind of an excuse for your insurance company to find a way to pay you some money initially. Most of that can be ignored. What we found with most Xactimate estimates is they were very low, sometimes by 50 or more percent. And what we did is we took those estimates and we stuck them in a file and we ignored them. What you need to do, in my opinion, if you want to have this go smoothly, is you find a contractor that you want to work with, maybe someone you've worked with before, hopefully it's somebody that's local, and you need to talk to them, find out what needs to be done, and then they can work with your adjuster over time, not to adjust your claim, but can explain to them what needs to be done. because there's no way a field adjuster can come in the situation that you're all in now and do an accurate, thorough estimate. And matter of fact, some of the damage won't even be known until you begin the tear out. So don't worry about that early Xactimate estimate. It's something merely for information, and it's rarely accurate. Do not think that is what the insurance company is going to try to pay you. You will end up probably with much more money than is what on that Xactimate estimate. And again, you have the right to use your own contractor, and if an early estimate says a particular thing costs $30,000 and your contractor says, well, that's great, but we can't find any material now. Labor is very tough after a hurricane, so it's going to cost $50,000. Your insurance company has a legal obligation to pay you what it takes to repair whatever your damage is and return you to a pre-storm condition. Just because pricing right now is unfair, that is not your problem. That is your insurance company's problem, and you are paying them a premium to deal with that. Again, remember, early estimates are going to be very inaccurate, and your insurance company has a legal obligation to pay you what is fair. And there's lots of ways that we'll talk about moving on in the future in this series about how we can make sure that happens. Again, I hope everybody's staying safe. I wish you luck, and we'll see you soon.